Today in the show, Andrea Pirlo officially takes charge of the Italy national team following rejections from Pep Guardiola and Carlo Ancelotti. Real selects Rodri as their primary summer transfer target and has already agreed personal terms. Meanwhile, Arsenal pushes to close the signing of Bruno Guimaraes, frustrating the Newcastle hierarchy, and Salah's transfer to Besiktas nearly collapsed due to the agent's insane demands. We talk about all this and much more right now. Italian football stands on the brink of a major appointment. The legendary 47-year-old manager Andrea Pirlo has fully agreed a contract and will officially become the new head coach of the Italy national team. The decision on his appointment was reached after the Italian Football Federation received rejections from their primary candidates, Ancelotti and Guardiola. In short, Don Carlo decided to stay in Brazil, while Pep ultimately opted to take a year off from football to spend it entirely with his family, as he had promised them earlier. As a manager, Andrea Pirlo is known for his desire to build elegant positional football with an emphasis on ball control and building attacks from deep. However, managing a national team and a club are entirely different tasks. Perhaps the colossal authority of a winner and his vision of the game can serve as the exact spark needed to reboot the national team and elevate it to a new level. Madrid Atletico has definitively wrapped up all legal procedures and officially completed the transfer of 25-year-old South Korean midfielder Kang-in from PSG. All paperwork is signed, the player has successfully passed his medical examination, and he has penned a long-term 5-year contract until June 30, 2031. The total financial package of the deal reached 40 million euros, of which 35 million euros will be paid up front as a fixed fee, with an additional 5 million euros structured as easily achievable add-ons. Thanks to FIFA solidarity payments, former clubs of the player will also benefit. Valencia will receive around 1.4 million euros, while Mallorca will pocket approximately 600,000 euros. The finalization of the move was slightly delayed due to settling contractual nuances with the Parisians following the conclusion of the South Korea national team's campaign at the 2026 World Cup. But once all matters were resolved, the Korean midfielder immediately flew out to Madrid. Head coach Diego Simeone personally insisted on signing Kang-in, viewing him as an explosive, highly technical, and versatile creator capable of operating with equal effectiveness on both attacking flanks as well as in the number 10 role. In the capital of Spain, the Korean is viewed as the direct sporting and marketing heir to Antoine Griezmann, and according to our information, the player could receive the iconic number 7 shirt. This high-profile transfer saga has definitively drawn to a close, and its conclusion turned out to be pragmatic to the extreme. According to available information, the 23-year-old Dutch winger has signed a contract with Saudi Al-Hilal until 2030, with West Ham set to receive 77 million euros, including all bonuses for the transfer. For a long time, Roma was considered the primary favorite. The Romans made several consecutive moves, with their final bid reaching 47 million euros plus add-ons. Somerville himself had already given his consent in principle for a move to Italy and was prepared to play in the Champions League under Gianpiero Gasperini. But while West Ham dragged their feet on a response in hopes of driving up the price, Al-Hilal aggressively crashed the bidding with an offer of 17 million euros net per year. In total, over 4 years in Saudi Arabia, Somerville will earn an astronomical 68 million euros net, a sum that Roma or any other European club simply could not match. Let's speak candidly. The player simply chose massive money over Champions League football and the challenge of performing at the highest European level. But can anyone blame him for that? Absolutely not. He is well within his rights. Although for Al-Hilal, this is not merely a big name, but a genuinely powerful reinforcement. Somerville is an explosive, rapid, and technical winger with crazy dribbling, capable of single-handedly ripping opponent defenses apart and possessing massive growth potential. A high-profile detective story is unfolding in the English transfer market. According to available information, Arsenal has made Newcastle captain Bruno Guimaraes their primary summer target, and the 28-year-old Brazilian has already given his consent in principle to the move, fully agreeing personal terms with the Londoners. The midfielder himself seeks to take a step forward and join the reigning Premier League champions under Mikel Arteta, though he insists on maintaining a respectful relationship with the Magpies and their fans. An initial verbal proposal from the Gunners of £55 million plus £10 million in bonuses was strictly rejected by Newcastle. Currently, the Londoners are preparing an improved cheque of £70 million. However, genuine irritation is brewing at St James's Park. The Newcastle hierarchy considers £70 million an underestimation, demanding between £80 and £100 million, taking cues from the recent high-profile sales of Sandro Tonali and Anthony Gordon. The club even put on a demonstrative media gesture, placing Bruno Guimaraes front and center in the launch of their new away kit to signal that they have no intention of selling their captain. Tellingly, no official direct contacts have taken place between the clubs, yet Arsenal is operating through intermediaries. While Arsenal tries to push the deal over the line, reports suggest that Chelsea is ready to intervene, with the Blues allegedly keeping a close eye on developments, though this remains mere rumor for now. For Mikel Arteta, signing Guimarães is a critical priority, as the Brazilian midfielder is envisioned to form a formidable midfield triangle alongside Declan Rice and Martin Zubimendi, relieving them from an exhausting fixture schedule. Madrid Real is blowing up the global transfer space once again, making 30-year-old Ballon d'Or winner Rodri their top summer priority. According to available information, the Merengues president, Florentino Pérez, has received a full green light from the player himself. The Madrid hierarchy has already held a meeting with the Spaniard's agent, Pablo Barquero, in the suburbs of Madrid and is currently ironing out personal terms on a contract running through 2030. Rodri himself is far from opposed to returning home, stating directly to the press that it is simply impossible to close the door on Real despite his past with Atletico. This saga has dragged on since 2024, but now, following Pep Guardiola's departure from his role as head coach of Manchester City and another World Cup triumph for the Spaniard, Pérez has decided to act with maximum aggression. However, the Madrid side should not expect an easy deal for 50 to 60 million euros. Manchester City demands at least 100 million euros for the final year of the midfielder's contract. The situation is further complicated by the player needing surgery for back issues. Nevertheless, Rodri himself is exerting heavy pressure on the Citizens' management, refusing an extension and demanding to be let go to Spain, which will force the English side to lower their price tag to avoid losing their star for free next summer. Such a risky desire from Florentino Pérez to lay out cosmic money is completely understandable, as the Spanish midfielder is an ironclad conductor with a unique vision of the pitch, tackling ability, and the skill to dictate the tempo of the game completely. Following the departures of legends like Toni Kroos and Luka Modric, the Real midfield catastrophically requires precisely this kind of metronome, for whom Real is even prepared to sell Eduardo Camavinga to lighten their wage bill. The future of 34-year-old Mohamed Salah following his exit from Liverpool is turning into one of the most dramatic storylines of this summer, and it has just reached the home stretch. It all started like a perfect transfer detective story. The Egyptian's representatives and lawyers personally flew to Turkey for direct talks with the management of Besiktas. Initially, Salah was counting on a salary of 15 million euros per year, but during constructive dialogue, he agreed to lower the price tag to 12 million euros. The player himself has already spoken with the head coach of the Eagles and gave his consent in principle to the move. It seemed the deal was practically in the Turkish giant's pocket. Then a massive scandal erupted that nearly ruined everything. As soon as rumors of the deal being finalized were blown up in the press, the player's agent, Rami Abbas, suddenly hit them with a shocking demand, a 35% commission fee on the total transaction value, around 7.5 million euros. The president of Besiktas, Serdal Adala, issued a harsh public statement calling such agent appetites unacceptable and declaring the talks frozen. In behind-the-scenes circles, it was even speculated that the Egyptian would choose Arab billions at Al-Ittihad or move to the USA to join San Diego, where his family was actively urging him to go. However, the principled and uncompromising stance of the Turkish club brought results. According to the latest information, Rami Abbas decided to back down and significantly reduced his commission demands. The agent's new figures effectively aligned with the financial limit initially proposed by Serdal Adalı. The main hurdle has been removed. The parties have returned to the negotiating table, and they are currently finalizing the payment schedules to officially seal one of the biggest transfers in the history of Turkish football. Write in the comments whether Mohamed Salah will become the main star of the Turkish Super League, and if Besiktas will conquer new heights with the Egyptian in the squad.